So I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of a callback, maybe bringing back old stuff that Arrow is used to with this team, because when they were back in T3, Arrow was one of the core five. He was the member that they dropped for Razor, and now he's coming back in. So Oblation, I'm definitely looking forward to casting them again. It's been a while since CL ended. Of course, Seven Spades are going to be, they've got something to prove. They've got to prove that their CCS qualifying run was not just a fluke, because, I mean, if we look at the last match's stats against Neo, their highest rated player and their only player who went positive was Surf at a 0.98 and a 14-14 even KD on Gridlock and Wamai. Not a lot happening from the Ash mains of Rexavy, who went 5-18. Mohes at least went 15-16, and he was 4-3 on entry. So that's not like, that's not horrible, but they're definitely going to have to show up today against Oblation, especially going into the rest of this tournament, where even if Seven Spades win this game, they got slapped by Project Neo, who in turn got slapped by Wichita Oblivion. And no matter what, Seven Spades, if they keep going, will have to face either Wichita Oblivion or, Aerial Arise, who is also an extremely good team.
Yeah, having the rest of that bracket to look forward to is also pretty darn tantalizing, but something we didn't really mention on the desk, this is elimination. This is kind of it. Oblation haven't played a single game, and they forfeited their opportunity to still have a second chance, so this is technically their second chance. And Seven Spades, if you call their game last week a game, then they also blew that opportunity as well. So one of these teams is gone. In the same way that Glow Up was eliminated earlier in the night by Ape, either Seven Spades or Oblation will not be progressing through this bracket. Abunai and Carnage could very well be joining the Seven Spades team for one best of three, and that would be all. In the same way that Arrow would be joining Oblation for only one best of three series. So there is a lot on the line to ensure that both these squads have an opportunity to move forward in the bracket, because if you lose, that's it. There's no other opportunities past this match.
I'm also extremely glad that Guyana Bear has changed his name back to Guyana Bear. I remember for a while he shortened it to just Bear, but that was always one of my favorite names. Saying that name in its entirety during a clutch. Remember when we were doing our practice cast with the Oblation, and it was Guyana Bear clutching a 1v3 as Clash? Oh, that was I love screaming that name. And Arrow, of course.
I want to say I did record that practice cast as well, so I'm pretty sure I got it. I might have. I know I did it for when we were sad
because we didn't.
No, well, there was one for EU. I don't know if we did. Oh no, you're right. The one. We did the EU practice cast first, then we did the Oblation one. Oh, you're right. Suck. Oh well.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was a good one. Wasn't he also Bear.Ace at one point when they were under Polar Ace for all of 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say that was his tag, unless he was Guyana Bear.Ace, which would have just been a whole mouthful to say out loud.
I don't know if that would have fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, is that too many characters?
Oh, 14.
Maybe that was it, because maybe like Bear.Ace seems like too generic for someone to still get, unless you message Ubisoft support about it. Anyway,
like a polar bear.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, hold on. Polar bears are Virtus Pro. It can't all be the same thing.
That's true.
Anyway, we can progress into the match proper at this point. So, we start up on a church defense, something that we've already seen Oblation time and again always opt to start with. And they also don't do anything super crazy with their roam game. They very typically turtle up on the bomb site for the entirety of a round, which appears to be what they're currently doing. They have Arrow as the Maestro set up inside a dirt. Guyana Bear back in deep arsenal waiting for someone on a kitchen push, and I believe, everyone else seems as though they also have migrated downstairs. The Seven Spades looks for the angles to open up, and Giddy so far finds himself a little bit pressured from main stairs and long hallway. Inrio does open up the kill feed. Goodbye, Abunai. Sophia trying to fight down Generator, but he's traded out by Carnage. So Generator now is an avenue that Seven Spades can maneuver down if they so choose, but we need to see if their timing works out.
Yeah, I mean, sacrificing your life for the Zofia is a big pick, especially with the shields, the Malusis, and the Maestros, and the ADSs on the boards. That's a lot of utility you've lost out. Abunai also, though, at least all of his drones were expended. You have taken the Generator position in half the round, too. So you know, it's not all bad, but someone from the defense is retaking over towards Generator. It's Guy Bear now in that position. As speaking of, he'll get the C4 kill onto Carnage B, so no more Ace, no more Hard Breach, should he have had Selma's back in his pocket, and no more smoke grenades either. Man advantage as well, trailing for 7 Spades in 3 versus 4. Mohess is now the player with the diffuser, the player with the most kills from their last map, going to be tasked with planting or help. Maybe he will trade it off with Noski, as Surf is going to be the lone man pushing down blue. Mohess now reallocating his position over towards dirt, and Noski, who is on top of kitchen. Looks like Surf is no longer going to be inside of blue. They've transferred to a dirt kitchen hatch push, which is something we do see a lot, but they have to contend with Aristotle, who has the Alda. Philosophical weapon, to say the least, with his 81 bullets in the mag, and time is just bleeding away. While Hess is now stuck inside the Banshee, he'll whiff his shots and lose the fight, and now it's a 2 versus 4. Barely any map control for 7 Space to work with, as Noski will drop the hatch. He does get 1 kill, but Giddy trades off his teammate, and Noski goes down to Vivid inside of Church. Oblation will take round number 1.
If Sledge doesn't take as much time as he does on that Church fight, he can probably push in and help Noski on the drop, but the only way the Maestro dies is after Noski drops, and Aristotle is still waiting inside of dirt to see if someone else will make the approach. So it's a little bit too slow on 7 Spades' part for their attack. They had generator control, or they had it open to them, but did not assume control of it immediately, which meant they were fighting from a couple of different angles all at the same time and weren't able to effectively coordinate when a push would come through. So Oblation having all 5 members on site was also very effective, because it didn't mean they were splitting their focus towards too many avenues of approach in at the same time. They could just sit back and hold angles for as long as necessary. It's something we've seen from Oblation over and over and over again in Challenger League. Similar setup, and 7 Spades just walked right into it.
Yeah, really good usage of blue control, and as well as Oblation not letting 7 Spades get any picks using the vertical. No kills from the hatch of blue, no kills from above kitchen. Oblation definitely played that. After Inrio's initial burst of aggression, they really reeled it back. That was well done from them. And now they're going to go to Cash, standard rotation. Church, Cash will likely see Jim next if they win this round. And it looks like they are setting up for a little bit more downstairs presence. Bear's already opened up all the holes in the stock. You do that to deny any sort of downstairs presence from like a Buck, or even like sometimes if there's no Buck, Zofia will go down there too and try to open up holes in the cash floor. So that's to deny that. If you want someone to rotate down, I imagine the stage hatch is open as well. But Bear, I'm not sure how he just took that damage. It didn't look like he was going for an aggressive play, but he'll start the round off at half HP.
Something also that we didn't speak about while it was happening is the bans. These are also pretty darn important towards the way in which this map can be played. Interestingly enough, Valkyrie is the operator banned by Oblation, where we've usually seen players like Inrio or Vivid or Giddy going crazy on a roam with Valkyrie and just utilizing those cams to full effectiveness, but instead they're the ones to take Valkyrie off the board. And also having a Habata ban means that it becomes infinitely more standard to just run an ace, and it kind of seems as though that's the only hard breacher that will be taken for this game, as Thermite has not been brought through 2 rounds.
Yeah, Thermite does find some play on other maps. Like, he's still brought on Consulate. You still see him on, like, sometimes, very rarely, Oregon, but for the most part on, like, Clubhouse and Villa. Actually, no, yeah, Oregon too. Clubhouse, Villa, and Oregon, you see a lot of Ace instead. He's a little bit more flexible than the Thermite, plus with the combination of a Maverick, in which you can just, you know, Maverick trick the entire panel to create an equally sized hole as a Thermite charge. You don't really need him. So it's kind of whatever. Just the other operators bring a lot more utility, including the frag grenades. Mohess has them in his pocket as well to try and knock the jammer off. But in addition to the jammer, he'll claim the life of the mute himself. So a great nade there from Mohess. His teammate nearly gets traded off. Carnage B takes a lot of damage, but he wins the frag against Vivid. The flank downstairs works out for Giddy, though, and that's diffuser dropped. Now inside of Lounge. Noski takes out Inra after Avenai's on the floor. It's a 2 versus 4. For Oblation to try and work with, make it just Arrow, but does have diffuser control. He's got the sightline from down low. He downs and finishes off Surf as well. 1 versus 3. Abenai and Noski both damaged, though Abenai just 1 HP. And Arrow is just going to sit inside of Lounge, hold off what he can, because again, he knows he has case control.
He's getting pinched from a couple of different sides. It does a little bit more damage on Noski through the wall, but now his position being given away, and there's 3 different avenues in that Seven Spades can use to finally pinch him. He finds one more kill. It does arrow onto Abinai, but Noski yet again will be the one to fell the Maestro. An opportunity for a potential case stoppage inside of stage close to bar. It very nearly happened, but unfortunately the Jaeger was not able to stay alive for long enough to make it matter in the end. What he did do, though, is he went from cash all the way downstairs into basement and then had to re-emerge from blue stairs to even down the diffuser in bar in the first place. Unfortunately for him, his position was snuffed out, and the Maestro had to be the one to come downstairs and defend the diffuser by himself. And at the end of the day, it was not enough firepower, and Seven Spades were able to capitalize. But they did that because it was a 5 versus 3 man count, and it threw the entire defensive strategy for Oblation out of whack. So it's good recognition from Seven Spades to make the adaptation, and all they had to do was go next to the diffuser and find the last 2 kills.
Yeah, and of course, Mohes starting things off with that nade definitely helped. It gave them that entry pick into sight they needed, and from there they were able to effectively collapse on those anchors, kill them all, and like you said, it was left up to Arrow and Inro, who had already evacuated because of the case control. It was a great try from Arrow. He took out 2. Went from a 1v4 down to a 1v2. I think if he was aware of that presence instead of Wolf, he may have been able to get the snap and get the pre-fire. But at that point, you know, too many angles for one man to cover. He's only got 1 gun, so can't fault him for that. Oblation will try again, though. They'll try to go back to cash, fix their mistakes, which were, got a little bit too aggressive, peeking out, getting caught in the fights. Especially the one with Vivid nearly killing Carnage. There were a lot of very, like, nearly kills from Oblation. Unfortunately, not being able to finish him off was one of the downfalls of that round.
This is also Seven Spades' pick on this series as well. They wanted to go to Clubhouse as opposed to starting on Oregon, and because it is 2/5 of that Favelas roster, it's not that we can call them the Favelas outright, even if, you know, because of the players they have, they, you know, might be the Favelas' spiritual successor or something. If nothing else, there's still a lot of things that the experience of Abinai and Carnage can take into this squad. So go into a map that they're comfortable on and that they already have Noski on, who is himself a veteran of the T2, T3 scene, who's been in it for a very long time. There's a lot of really good things to like about what this lineup can produce, but again, you lose this match and you are out of CCS contention. So you want to return to a map that has a lot more comfortability and something that you have enough reliability in to win out in the end. So we see Oblation continuing to not get super aggressive. However, Giddy was making his own rotate around the site to try to stall more of Seven Spades' attack strategy. Hole's been opened up thus far for Seven Spades to make their approach into the bomb site through the window, through the wall, should they require it, but for the moment, they're not getting super aggressive.
It's mainly just utility clearing so far. Abinai dispatching of the Banshee, covering him, and dispatching of Inrio. Unfortunately, those holes in the wall of the garage that hasn't been fully open for a rotate will work against the Wamai and allow Abinai the kill onto rafters. They will have Guy and a Bear retake, so it's not free control, but as he tries to move up, Abinai still playing the same position will find a second kill. Surf on flank watch as well. Down goes Giddy, and again, it's just Vivid. It's a 1v5. And he doesn't even have C4 to deny. He's got impacts. Is he going to be able to do anything at all? Even if he gets 1 pick at this point, it's just going to be an exit frag just to pad stats. He'll instead use the impact to open up the barricade, but unfortunately the metal bars will be his undoing. And he just doesn't have the right shots on the player through the floor despite having the info. He tags up Noski but can't finish off the kill, and it'll be a flawless attack for Seven Spades.
Well, they're certainly turning things around. They know how to attack CCTV and Cash, and Oblation are all of a sudden reeling after 2 very, very quick attacks. Seven Spades have the entry picks in 2 consecutive rounds, a 5 versus 3 in both cases, and now in this round it becomes a 5 versus 1 that turns into a flawless. And 7S are doing a much, much better job of making this work than they did in their previous series. But they're also moving at a pretty blistering pace. Oblation aren't doing enough to continue to stall for time. And something that they've done previously has been getting aggressive themselves. That didn't work in round 2 because it was snuffed out pretty effectively by 7 Spades. So they opted to hang back a little bit more, and they still got pressure from all sides and didn't really seem like they were prepared for the push. It just genuinely seemed as though they were caught off guard a little bit. Something you can definitely correct for. However, I would be concerned about how the site rotation for Oblation is going to work if the only one that they've been able to win thus far is Church. We're heading back to it, but you didn't even get to try Jim out, and you lost CCTV twice, so I am a little bit concerned about how this rotation.
Speaking of the gym site, as you saw from that little infographic, it has not been played yet at all in CCS. I don't actually know how many times Clubhouse has been played, but it had to have been more than once for us to have that graphic. It's been played twice so far. So, no gym defense. That's definitely interesting. So that means every time we've seen Clubhouse, it's just been Church and Cash. Hopefully, that trend doesn't continue, because I kind of like seeing gym holds, and just seeing Church Cash over and over and over again is kind of gets a little bit monotonous. But this was the site that Oblation were successful on, and hey, maybe instead of going to Cash for a third time, they'll opt to go Gym instead. So far, 7 Spades have been great on their attack. This is their map pick, and they've already gotten 2 rounds. They've reached their minimum quota for this map. You typically expect a 4-2 half for the defense. 7 Spades already getting 2 is a massive advantage. If they even get 1 more round and end the half 3-3, that's effectively a win for them. And that
barges down main.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but he does a good job of just storming in, finding the wall bang, and then escaping again. So if he can keep on doing that, then he'll have even more pressure to apply from the main stairs side of things, but he has scampered away for the moment. Vivid watching the angle from Moto, doesn't have anything that he can shoot at, and that's just your Malusi. Done and dusted, with almost none of that utility used aside from putting the Banshee down and no opportunity to make an impact later in the round. The difference here, though, is 7 Spades are taking a lot more time on the stock hatch take, and they also have not cleared out Generator as of yet. Fuser will remain upstairs until they're more confident in which push they want to take, and right now, it looks like most of their clearance is just on the main stairs side, but that's if they can get Vivid. Maverick is rotated around to get the hatch in Moto, and that's going to force Vivid back out again while he just works more on this utility. Right now, Oblation, even though their strat is to stay on the bottom floor when they're defending Church, they seem like they're getting a little bit too uncomfortably pressured.
Again, though, Oblation have avoided giving 7 Spades any early picks through the floor, other than the one that, you know, the only pick they've gotten is just Surf sprinting down main, getting the kill, and running away. So Oblation aren't necessarily on too heavy of a back foot just yet. Again, an opening pick on the defense is not nearly as detrimental as an opening pick onto the attack, just by the way the utility meta works. Vivid is trying to get aggressive on the Church wall because he hears the drop, and the Maverick will go ahead and open the triple wall. Gas Canister comes out to stop him, and it'll flush Noski off. He peeks wide, and it's to his doom. Vivid, finally, the equalizer. There's 45 seconds left, and 7 Spades again seem to be a little bit stumped, though Mo Hess will try to do his best to reprimand that. Down goes Vivid, and Surf using those mav holes to his advantage. He takes out Giddy. Aristotle stuck inside of dirt. He gets crossfired. A beautiful shot there from the Zofia. Inrio there for a trade behind Generator, but Mo Hess is on 1 HP. And the plant is going down. There's no info for Inrio to work off of because of the Valkyrie ban. He gets 1, but he's traded off by the planter. 7 Spades will take round 4. They take their 3rd attack, and they essentially will win this half.
At this stage in the game, yeah, even if Oblation bounced back with 2 more rounds, it turns it into a 3 versus 3, but Clubhouse is still a defender-sided map in the wake of the current meta, so for Oblation to not be able to close this to a 4-2 half, no possibility for that, is definitely a detriment. 7 Spades had 1 round at the beginning where they seemed like they were a little bit off kilter, and now they seem all of a sudden a lot more coordinated. Their shots are more on point. Surf, especially with Ash, getting aggressive for 2 good kills from the bottom of main stairs makes all the difference, and Oblation just kind of seem like they're almost too anticipatory. Is that a word? They're waiting with too much anticipation? They're too... I just like anticipatory. I don't think that's a word.
Anticipatory.
I'm sure the
it is a word.
Is it? Wait, does it mean what I think it is?
Is indeed a word.
It doesn't mean what I think it means, or is it like some weird medical thing that no one's
No,
ever
yeah,
heard
it
of?
comes from anticipation.
Okay, good.
It's the adjective form of anticipation. Anticipatory, happening, performed, or felt in anticipation of something.
God, I'm not stupid.
No.
That
See,
feels good.
sometimes when you know your suffixes and prefixes, you can make words and they turn out to be real.
There's a friend of mine that desperately hates whenever someone uses the word normalcy, because the correct suffix of that is normality and not normalcy, because normalcy is kind of like the American way of saying it, and we apparently say it wrong. I every time I say normalcy, I just get chewed out for it, because it's like, that's not right! I'm like, fine. I guess I don't know my suffixes then.
No, the British we don't listen to the British when it comes to English.
The British, we don't do that here.
No, it's kind of like it's like Mandarin versus Cantonese. It's like Chinese traditional versus simplified. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
But unless you just straight up just make up a word and then use it so much that it shoves itself into the dictionary, like selfie. God, I hate that. The fact that that's in the dictionary pisses me off.
Text wasn't in a dictionary as a noun up for a certain portion either for Webster's dictionary. It wasn't a noun. It was a verb. No,
so
sorry.
Technically, the word disrespectful is a colloquialism.
Only a colloquialism and not like an actual.
No, yeah.
Really?
A bomb has been located.
That one actually kind of shocks me. Oh, if the word PogChamp goes in the dictionary, I'm going to yeet off the planet and
Anything
go to Mars.
can go into the dictionary, but Avani is yet again going to be pressuring Generator. This is kind of what we've seen from literally every church round. The Maverick will be going ahead and opening up the hatch. I mean, I don't really know why they brought the Kaid, because Maverick has been doing that every round. They haven't been using Hibana. They haven't been acing the hatch open, so that's really just... Oh, in my mind, at least, it's just kind of a waste of an operator. I mean, yeah, you get the C4, but not a lot else, and he's just gonna die.
Well,
Okay.
It's unfortunate timing. Caster's Curse, shut up about op picks, otherwise he's going to get his head taken off within 2 seconds. But the point about it is correct. The only difference now is that Oblation still find themselves without the entry pick. It's gone to 7 spades, and they've been able to utilize that effectively every time they've gotten the opening kill. We'll see if that ends up continuing here. Arrow trying to defend against Kitchen. The frag grenade to deny the impact trick is far too slow, but it still means there's an opportunity for the hatch to be opened up if 7 spades utility usage is on point. It might just come down to looking for kills through kitchen floor, though, as I don't know if there's enough Maverick torches left or even enough Selmas to be able to put it onto the kitchen hatch. And I think 7 spades are already beginning to make a rotate. Right now, Oblation are still pretty resolute in their positioning. They're not going to move too much. In Rio, still solo control of Generator, but there's already one pushing their way back down blue. Vivid again, trying to equalize. Down goes Surf. No more impact from the Ash. Right, all those kills last time, but Noski's already forced his way onto the site. Arrow is trying to equalize as well, but that's something that 7 spades already have that Oblation were not able to stop. There's a Maverick in sight, and now Carnage is able to go for the diffuser. In Rio's position has not been found yet, and he makes Mahas pay for it. And now a 1 versus 3, even though Noski manages to cover the diffuser. Guy on a bear with 2 kills at the end, and Oblation stopped the bleeding a little bit.
Here we go, finally. A round back. It's been 3 in a row for 7 spades.
Defenders win.
So, Oblation still don't have a perfect record on a site, though. They're 2-1 on Church now. They had to try it again to be successful. That is also the second plant we've seen this game from Carnage B. They were both 2 in a row, both on Church. Unfortunately, the post plant did not go their way. This time, despite having that early opening pick, Vivid and Arrow doing great to try and refrag out their teammates, kept it equal, and a lack of intel moving into blue was their downfall. You've lost the blue crossfire because Inrio is just tucked in a corner and Mohas has no clue he's there, and Guy and a Bear with a very well-timed flank, killing the planter through the Maverick's own holes on the church wall, then swinging Moto as Noski. That is, I mean, I guess it's a decent position to cover the plant from, but once the plant goes down, I mean, if there's a guy in Moto, a guy coming from your hallway, and a guy in blue, there's nowhere for you to run. That was unwinnable at that point in the 1v3, and Oblation finally took their second round. Though, the best they can hope for on their defensive split is a 3-3 half. It's not great, and they'll try to do the most on their Jim defense, which this is now the first time we've seen Jim in CCS.
I'm gonna say, ask and you shall receive.
Trailblazers.
There goes the 0% pick rate for Jim getting utterly shattered after just one mention of, hey, we haven't got to Jim yet. OBLATION go, all right, fine, we'll pick Jim. So I think that's also still the good call, mostly because when you are not able to win CCTV cash on 2 straight attempts, and by the way, lose both of them as badly as you did through 2 rounds consecutively, OBLATION going for a Jim defense is honestly probably the better way to attempt to save this half and at least make it 3-3 before we switch sides. For 7 Spades, it's also seemingly pretty darn business as usual. Noski's always been opening up something to start the round with on some exterior wall, and then he's moved his way in to do the same thing. The only thing is he's not doing it with hatches because this is a top floor bomb site. And after he opens up that initial hole, then 7 Spades utilize the intel that they've already gathered with a little bit more of that drone positioning and start to make their attack straight in, and that's exactly how Arrow is getting pressured inside of cache.
You see that angle Avenai was holding?
I did.
Earlier? Dude, ain't no one peeking the dirt tunnel angle with that. Man, that's all I gotta say. But a lot of utility being thrown in at Arrow holding down cache. It's very, very bunker-like as they've reinforced literally every single wall. But they've sacrificed all of their smokes, all of their flashes. Half of Surf's utilities used one of the breaching rounds. Avenai has used one of his impacts, and a nade from Mohes. So, a hell of a lot going into that clear. Also, no more Selmas. Though they do have the control they need, and they do have Jacuzzi wall open. So, despite the immense, I guess the immense dedication of utility over towards that side, they finally get what they want. But now they've got to work through construction. There's a crossfire being held inside of logistics, and all 5 players of the defense are still up. Despite how much time they spent clearing cache, they haven't found a kill. Arrow will start things off on Anoski. Inrio, tucked inside the corner, will finish off Carnage. He tries to rush through construction. Now it's 5 versus 3. 50 seconds left. No diffuser control has been dropped inside of construction as well, thanks to Inrio. They really have not a lot of info. The bullet hole is being held as well. He can just see the Ash and she'll go down. A beautiful kill from Inrio. Surf there with a trade, but just dropping the hatch with no fears, Mohes. It'll be right to his death. It's Avenai at a 1 versus 3. He's crossed off by the bed, and OBLATION will take round number 6.
Jim, it has a pretty darn abysmal pick rate, but it has a 100% win rate after just 1 round. It's 100%. We'll tout that as the most pure stat of anything else in CCS as of right now until someone loses Jim, because it's 100% and it is golden. It is the bastion of Clubhouse. Best side on the map. Fight me. Actually, don't. I don't want to fight anybody. Social distancing and all that. Anyway, so Inrio sits by himself as Jaeger in Logi and grabs a 3K. There's not enough intelligence from 7 Spades side of things to know to look inside of logistics before they make their push inside. They also haven't claimed it. Inrio's able to sit inside as Jaeger the entirety of that round because the hatch isn't dropped, there's not a drone inside, no one is aware of his position, and even when Inrio gets the first kill, Ash swings in from cache, still can't ascertain the exact position of Jaeger, and also dies to bullet holes. It's not a great day when you lose 3 players to 1 man, and especially after Mohes as Sledge dropped the hatch with no additional intelligence, despite knowing that there had to be a Jaeger in that position. So, very good on Inrio for creating all that havoc as a 1-man wrecking crew. However, it had to come at the very end of their defensive half, and now we'll see if 7 Spades can make something of their own defense.
Noski was the first.
It was...
Pretty sure Noski was the first.
I think it was Noski, and then it was Carnage.
Yeah, because Karn died in construction, Mohes was the Sledge who dropped hatch, Surf died the bullet holes, Avenai was the last player alive, so it had to have been Noski. There we go. Process of elimination. I had to talk it out.
We got to figure out how to make Crow's notes as clean and efficient and as accurate as possible.
if anything in my notes is inaccurate, then I failed to caster. But like I said, Jim now a 100% defensive win rate. Good job, OBLATION. But it's a 3-3. 7 Spades, though not having the best last 2 attack rounds, are still in the advantage. They are on typically the better side on the defense. All they have to do is take the classic 4-2 split, and they win the game. Of course, OBLATION are going to be looking to put a stop to that, and the first round will be on Church. They have pretty much the exact same lineup on Oblation, except instead of the Ashe that Surf was running, Arrow will instead be playing the Capitao, and with no Wamai, he can just shove his utility in wherever he wants, such as behind Generator.
Also utilize the hard breach charge he's got in his back pocket, though with both a Maverick and an Ace on the board, you would hope the utilization of said hard breach gadget will become secondary and not something that's required. So the question then becomes, why would you even bring it in the first place when you have other utility to use? Mohes, the first kill after that is Aristotle with the pistol from Capitao through the holes made in the hatch, and all of a sudden you now lose your Cade. So it is a little bit confusing. You're correct about why you would want to bring a Kaid when you have a Maverick on the board who's going to work on hatches in that extent anyway. Will lose his life, but now Seven Spades need to find a measure of recourse. Abonite, we've seen this position for him for fellas all the time. Double ADS, solo generator hole. He's done this countless times, and again, sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't, but he does have coverage from Carnage inside of Church, the Favelas duo, to help him out if he requires it.
And, just as Abonite always holds that, this is kind of always the clear that comes out. Seven Spades don't really, and even the Favelas don't really play a Wamai on this site, so Capitao can just do whatever he wants. He'll send a fire arrow in, but there's no capitalization, so he's able to just retake into blue. He'll instead actually press the issue to the oil pit hall, but Giddy is better in that fight, reacts quickly enough to take the head off of Abonite, and Vivid has been recovered after being down by main stairs earlier. Now Carnage B hitting the prone, takes the head off of Giddy, and Surf will finish off Guy and a Bear. Vivid is very lit up, Arrow still making his way down the blue hatch, but Vivid finds the prone to Carnage B, still over by the church wall. Noski is inside of blue, trying to retake over, but there's coverage from the hatch. Surf, I think, is still inside of Arsenal. No, he's actually in the hallway. He could easily flank these players inside of Moto if there's no one covering, but Vivid is just going to be going for the plant inside of Church. Is there any denial from this defense? There's a coverage from Inreal on the prone hole, so down goes Surf, and Noski is just lost, I guess, as Arrow was just covering the hatch, and Noski didn't know where to look. So that's the route for Oblation. They will take the lead.
It's really difficult to not call him Aristotle every time. I know his name's just Arrow.
It's just Arrow, but Aristotle is also really fun to say.
But Aristotle, it's also like a clever spelling of Aristotle. Like it's not the way the philosopher's name is actually spelled. It looks good. I'm just be like, man, not just shortening his name to Arrow is difficult. Though he doesn't have like a clan tag. He did back when he was on Guidance. I want to say it was Arrow-GG, so everyone was like, oh yeah, it's that guy. But,
do you think he screams Eureka whenever he gets a plant down?
Does he ever plant? Is he ever the player that does that?
He just planted! What do you... What?
Wait, I thought it was Vivid, because Vivid was playing the Ace.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I swear it was.
No, yeah, you're right. It was Vivid. I even wrote down. I wrote down Vivid plant. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought I said that Arrow planted.
No, dude.
I mean he does plant sometimes.
Yo,
hey, I hope he says Eureka when he does.
Just planted the diffuser. He's the one who got the final kill at the top of Stock Hatch. What are you smoking?
I wanted the Eureka joke to go through. You didn't know, chat. Eureka is like kind of like the Greek voila. It's like the I have done it thing. And Aristotle, that's what he screamed after he figured out that you can measure the density of an irregularly shaped object using water, using the displacement of water.
It is a celebratory outburst.
Yeah, supposedly in his bathtub.
Is that true?
That's how the story goes. I don't know if that's actually true.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, we'll see if they have more reasons to shout Eureka as this match progresses with a one-round advantage, waiting on Church, and now that'll be where Seven Spades opt to go back to for the second time in a row, and they're not going to work with a site rotation up until they have a defensive win under their belt. And a reminder that this is their map choice. They wanted to come to here, and Oblation will be taking us to Oregon as soon as this map has concluded. However, I wonder if this is Seven Spades trying to tap a little bit into the Favelas playbook, at least to a certain extent, doing a couple of basic holds and things that have netted the Favelas team's success in Challenger League, and that does include a very similar setup and hold and going back to Church twice in a row in order to deter the attacking team from needing to change up their strategy and maybe try to force an op pick out of place. However, I do believe that on both halves in every single round, I don't know if we've seen an operator get changed on either attack or defense. If there was, I might have missed it, but I think 90%, if not 100% of squad compositions have remained the same in this game.
There was that one round that Oblation switched to the Kite on their basement defense off of
Yeah, what did they switch off of for that?
I don't remember.
Was it mute?
I honestly have no clue. I don't.
You're supposed to know every. We correct your
I
notes
don't write
live
down
on broadcast, and you
optics.
don't. Oh my god.
I don't write down optics, but I don't know. It's whatever. Drone's coming in. We'll confirm the position of at least Surf, I guess, and that no one's down long haul. So sure. Info. Cool. Arrow, though, again, playing the Capital. There is no OMI, so he's just going to be able to freely put the firebolt down, preventing Abonai from pushing Oil Pit again. He flushed back inside of Armory. Giddy looks like he knows exactly where he's positioned as the Maverick will yet again pulls down on the church wall. Clear whatever jammer was behind there, preventing another sort of hard breach, maybe Vivid going and opening up with his ace charge, but Inrio will kill himself with a nade. That's unfortunate, and even more unfortunate as Giddy goes down as well to Abonai. So, unfortunate start from Oblation is a word I would use to describe that, as it's a 5v3 now for 7 Spades, and there's only 27 seconds left. Bear alone will start to try down to push blue. You will see of the Jaeger, but not be able to land the shot in time. Les takes a distant bit of damage from Vivid using the prone holes, but does not die, and now he's very aware of the position being held. C4 as well will miss the close angle, not being able to find the Kite, as Arrow will drop down the Moto hatch. It is just an absolute cluster over towards the, I don't know what side of the building that is, the west side of the building, but there's really no chance for them to get the plant down, especially with literally every defender staring at them. Surf and Morehouse will each get a kill. Aristotle will get an exit frag, but it doesn't matter. There's 7 Spades will still take the round, and we will re-equalize at 4 apiece.
I want to say the reason that Inrio died trying to use a nade is because he was making a hole at the top of Moto hatch and was trying to shove it in to clear out Moto and just misangled his throw. Which then helps everything else to fall apart because, well, I mean, Inrio dies at the top of Moto hatch. Abonai was holding generator the whole time, so got a kill from the top of blue, presumably all the way up in secret based on where he was positioned, and then there was no chance for Oblation to make the corrections necessary to push the site with any effectiveness. On 7 Spades' part, it's a good way to just kind of hold back and then realize once you've got the frags, you don't need to get more aggressive and go for more of them, even if that goes against every fiber, every instinct in your body to try to pad your stats and go for more kills. If you play it back and play it safe, especially on a site where you can win by not roaming, like Church, then it will definitely meet with more positive results. And thus far, through all 5 Church defenses that this match has seen so far on either team, all 5 players on the defense have stuck on site. There's not been an aggressive roam. There's been nothing on the floor above, nothing 2 floors above, no SSG style roams to speak of in this game. They're opting to allow the attacking team to burn utility, burn hatches, clear electro claws off, waste as much time as they need to, and just kind of let the meta speak for themselves. If you are a defender, now is the time to enjoy where the meta currently sits, because once Neon Dawn hits, it will not nearly be this easy to just sit on site and wait.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even think the defenders like playing this meta.
That is fair.
Yeah, and you're right. No roams so far. Definitely interesting. No SSG roams now. You don't know what the SSG roam is. I'm not gonna. I'm kidding.
I'm trying to ignore it.
I always want
to. Shut up.
I'm gonna keep doing it until like Creator gets scared, and I'm gonna do it. And then one day, I'm just gonna keep going. But Maverick is just going to open the server wall. That is not great Mavericking from Inrio, as he takes some damage from Abonai, though Abonai will eat some as well from whoever was outside the server window. There's downstairs lounge presence from the defense as well, just to ensure that no one can go below, make some easy vertical holes. There's, I mean, 3 freaking people, well, 2.5 kind of with the position on red stairs, dedicated to making sure no one from the attack can go downstairs. They're trying to isolate the entire attack to the horizontal, and even then, make sure that if they do take the site, they are safe in going for the C4 denial.
As we keep on moving in, Oblation are looking at the ways in which they can push towards the site, and I think right now, They don't have a lot of ways that they can, so they're still trying to create impact on the outside of the building before making their approach in. But you're right, we'll still have to see how, as time ticks down, OBLATION decide to react to the ways in which 7 Spades' defense is currently constructed. One sitting in rafters, one at the bottom of garage, so garage itself probably won't be the play until either one or both of these players have been cleared out, but with no kills on the side of OBLATION left, I'm sure you're kicking yourself if you're not able to take Ebonite off the board completely. It'll come down to, presumably, a construction push. The outer side single panel has been opened, and there's even more pressure now as Guy in a Bear does not have to solo push his way all the way in, as he does have assistance, and now construction has been claimed. I think, he's going for the window, but I think it's like just trying to just bop Ace's head off. It comes close, but it doesn't net anything. With 45 seconds left, we still sit at an impasse. No team is making the approach yet. The quick flick. There goes Carnage's head as Giddy has the pick perfectly scouted, and so does Inrio as down goes Abonai, finishing the job that started earlier in the round. Noski looking for a quick pick, trying to make things a little bit less one-sided, but he can't find the frag, and he's getting concussed out of his mind. And finally, Vivid will claim the life of the Malusi, but Noski still at the top of Rhett and Surf by himself in garage. There's the kill that he was looking for to make that impact, and now he's looking for a little bit more if he can find it, but Giddy and Arrow will find 1 kill apiece, and OBLATION will finally make sure the tie swings back on their side. They go up 5-4.
Wow, that was a pretty dominant attack. I think that was 4 people alive at the end of the round, if I'm not mistaken.
It was either 4 or 3, but I think it was 4, yeah.
I think there was only 1 kill.
It was Noski.
That was towards the end of the round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, great job to OBLATION. They opened the wall. Then they went to construction, and they opened the wall, and then they did the sight pinch. That's kind of all there is to it. That was a very cookie-cutter attack. 7 Spades got caught off, and OBLATION landed their shots.
I guess
Great
if
job to
anything,
them.
it was just it was different because it seemed like it was a little bit slower than we normally
It did seem a
expect.
little bit slower. I know, like, that happens to us a lot of times where we're just trying to, like, fill the time in the play-by-play with, oh, no one's really done anything yet, and then, bam, everything kicks off.
Hey, like, I wasn't able to switch off.
Like,
I was
well,
like,
no
yeah.
one's really going for the push yet, and Carnage immediately gets his head ripped off by Giddy on the doorway, and then everything goes to hell. Oh, interestingly enough, we have a new operator. Actually, 2 new operators. Inrio is on Thermite? I have never seen. That's blasphemy. That's what that is. That's sacrilege. Inrio is on Thermite? He's okay. I could understand because, like, sometimes I remember Louise did that on, like, what was it, like Capital Punishment, right? If he was having a really slow day, he'd be like, okay, you know, I'll take the Thermite guys. Don't worry about it. Inrio's 10-7. He's top fragging the lobby, and you're gonna put him on Therm? I mean, you know, maybe he's a Goga or something in his prime. You know, maybe he's a Fragmite, but that to me is just weird. And Arrow is also going to be on Kali. First time we've seen Kali in CCS in its entirety. Thank you very much, Keg, for whispering that sweet little nothing in my ear. So I guess, I don't know why they would drop the Maverick. Maybe unsatisfied with the speed at which they were opening the wall with the Maverick. So they just want the Thermite so they can just get it open easily, which I believe just goes off without a hitch. So I just, like, I don't question the pick of the Thermite. I question the player playing it.
Well, he's done his job, and you're right. It would have been a lot harder for the Maverick to open up the wall in the way that he was before, so they just opted to bring a Kali and a Thermite combo to make the process so much faster, which means now, we talked about them being slow in the previous round. This might just make up for some of that time. Noski being pressured from below now as the rest of OBLATION are beginning to make things a lot more harrowing from the underside of the map, but Surf try to stick around in stock as long as he can in case someone wants to make the push there. He could also try a run out, but it's not prepped as of right now, so his position would be given away in a pretty bad fashion. Vivid's not going to open up all construction. He'll just go for 1 pick. Can he find Noski? He's so close to just chipping away at his health through his leg. He knows he's behind green box, but now he will be flushed out of position as Noski will come back in for the swing.
What?
He's not
Why?
aware of the Ace's position. He just pushes right in and no longer has a life to use for the rest of his team. Now Maestro gets completely smoked out, tries to watch construction by himself, and he'll push to the top of red where he can assist Carnage if need be. And Abonai still has Rafters control. Something OBLATION didn't take last time was Garage. Will they take it this time? It may not be required if their attack strategy goes as smooth as it seems to be right now.
the Surf has an angle. That hole that he's looking at, I think, is on the construction wall. That's what they used to get the jammer off of it. But Giddy is just going to push through the breach. He finds one free kill, but unfortunately cannot choose which player he wants to shoot at. Mohess will get the better of him, but Surf has been traded out by Inrio. In comes the Kali. There's a kill for him. Guy in a bear elsewhere finds Carnage B. An Oblation will light up the scoreboard. They take round number 10. Okay. They get the wall open, they get construction open, they start kind of almost formulating a garage first, they just have someone watching it. Why does Noski swing that?
He's looking for the impact kill. He also swung when the wall was open, when main breach was open, he swung from top red, found one player on rappel. He's done that twice now.
That's different though, because you know someone's going to be on the rappel, right?
True.
But like, because the thing with that is, right? All right, so not only are you coming around swinging an angle against an ace at 1 HP when he sees you move behind from the bomb, but you pre-fire the other angle first to basically telegraph that push, and then you keep going for it. I mean, you're just gonna lose that fight, and then Giddy is allowed to just walk into the site for free and kill one. He kills the guy in garage rafters, tries to take the engagement on top red. Unfortunately, he loses it out, but it's just enough. I mean, he's distracting 2 players, 2/3 of the defense at that point, and allows the rest of his team to just, I mean, to just come in and collapse. At that point, it's a, what was that, a 2v4, I think? And it ended up as a 1v3 at the end?
They seemed a lot more like they weren't really certain which angle they had to hold when push came to shove. Like, as Oblation was pressuring them in and they started realizing how many different areas of effect Oblation had on the map, Seven Spades were like, do I watch angle A or angle B? And in 90% of circumstances, when they picked one of the 2 angles, it was the wrong choice. So when push comes to shove, Seven Spades so far have not been able to really produce defensively under pressure, because right now they don't have they have 1 win on defense compared to Oblation's 3 attack wins. They're making things work. We said on map point now, Seven Spades find a way to try to even the round count again. So far, Oblation are doing one of those fast clears again. There isn't anyone from Seven Spades who has opted to go from a floor up or even 2 floors up, nowhere aside from on the basement site, as they allow Oblation to just burn through their utility and burn through as much time as possible. I will say though, Seven Spades do look a lot better in this match than they did in their previous game in week 1, where they only won a combined 4 rounds, 5 in their previous game. It was not a good outing, but so far they are looking at least a little bit more coordinated, and that might just be because of the experience that Carnage and Abinai both bring, neither one of which are top fragging, by the way. They're both middle of the pack in terms of overall statistics, but are still trying to make an impact where possible.
Oh yeah, it was 7-2 both maps for Seven Spades last game.
So 4 combined rounds, but that was over 2 maps, and they already have 4 rounds in this one.
Yeah, an improvement. Woo!
Against a pretty darn good team, no less. So
the only thing is, they didn't play Clubhouse last week. They did play Oregon, and they lost to 7-2 against Neo. So, and that's also a map Oblation loves. So,
and the map that we're heading to next.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens when we, of course, when we get there. We'll get there when we get there. Right now, we gotta work through what could possibly be the last round, unless Seven Spades are able to stave off defeat of their own map pick. Right now, Oblation do look pretty damn good, but last time they attacked Church, they were unsuccessful, albeit after winning it once. Seven Spades do not have a perfect record on this site. They're 1-1. If Oblation can repeat their success, then hey, Clubhouse is done and dusted. You go onto your map pick, which you are very, very adept at. You almost have the match in the bag at this point. But Noski playing in the Necrox position, somehow avoiding the fire that is just kissing him in the face, but cannot avoid the gun of Arrow, as Arrow just comes around the corner and pre-fires him. Now dirt control falls in the hands of the attackers. The Carnage Bee is going to do his best to try and retake it. Now Aristotle will have to contend with the Alda, and he will lose out. Equal 4-4 man count now heading into the last 30 seconds of the round. Luckily enough, Arrow was not the diffuser carrier. That lies in the pocket of Vivid, who will throw out the smoke grenade, trying to lock off the long hallway. Giddy opening up the wall, opening up the Kool-Aid wall, looking like he might just want to oh yeah in and try to get a pick behind box 1. Bear takes out Carnage Bee, so there goes the dirt player as the Malusi has moved into the hallway. Giddy trying to make his way in. He sees the head of the Jaeger. He can't land the shot though. He's traded off, but Inrio from the main stairs has the coverage. Bear takes out Surf as well, and while the plant is going down, Inrio takes out Mohess. Oblation They will take round 11 in stride, and they take 7 Spades map pick 7-4.
Very good, very fast start for Oblation, who we again had not seen in CCS up until this point. So it's good to see that even though they weren't able to play last week, they are very, very capable of bouncing back. And for 7 Spades, 3 maps played.
To try and take this map pick, but they do start on defense, so they will be able to hopefully run up the score on the advantageous side and make their attacking half a little bit easier. 7 Spades, of course, will get the first ban. Last time, 7 Spades banned Thatcher Mira. Oblation banned Hibana Valkyrie. Hibana not being really a common ban on Oregon, but Thatcher, will he keep his 100% ban rate in CCS?
Yes.
Yes, he will. The Brits, man. We hate them.
We hate Brits as equally as we hate the rest of the world in Siege, apparently.
Redcoats.
Because we hated
Loyalists.
We hated the Koreans. Is Hibana Korean? Right? Korean and not Japanese?
What? Hibana's Japanese.
She's Japanese? Oh, no, I got it mixed
Yes.
up. I got it mixed up. That's fine.
Hibana's Japanese, Dokubi's Korean, Ying's Chinese.
I thought Ying was Hong Kong.
You thought Ying was Hong Kong, huh?
I did.
Which I guess people from Hong Kong just aren't Chinese.
Look, man, I'll make the distinction so long as it's its own sovereign. Never mind.
No, they're still. What are you gonna call them? Hong Kongese?
Hong Kongians? Hashtag free Hong Kong.
I have family in Hong Kong. They still identify themselves as Chinese.
Do they?
Yeah.
All right. Then I learned something then. Congratulations,
yes. They're, she graduated from Oxford University, and she's a banker.
Wow. So
my aunt is.
We're going back on the British line because we also banned Thatcher in this one. Anyway.
Oh, true. It's really weird. People in that region, like when they speak English, especially in like Hong Kong or like Malaysia and Singapore, they have like almost like it's a combination between like an East Asian and British accent. It's really weird.
Yeah, yeah. It's honestly pretty cool because you're like, hey, that used to be a British colony at one point. So it just
my family's great. But
your family does sound
now.
Great.
We're gonna go on Oregon. It's gonna be laundry first for the defense. That is
as many bombs as they can.
Very standard. That's what we expect. No Wamai though. He has been banned because he is extremely powerful on Oregon, especially for holding positions like elbow, positions like attic, upstairs when you're holding dorms. Stuff like that. So obviously they don't want to deal with that, but they will supplement the lack of the Wamai shield with a Valkyrie shield. C4 not having as much of a focus on this site, and you've already got 2 of them on the side of Carnage and Surf, and Carnage, of course, he's not going to be playing as aggressively as the Valkyrie or the Malusi either, so he'll likely have it still in his pocket when the execute carp starts coming down for that plant denial. All the other operators picks, extremely standard. But I do like, the lack of Wamai, lack of Maestro being played, and stuff like that. It makes the utility meta just a little bit alleviated.
Which is a nice thing to see, at least for the moment. We're not worried about too much of a burn, but considering the number of shields we still do have in play, even without a Goyo, it will still take a little bit of time before Oblation have enough site presence to make their execute work. So those will be the 2 primary focuses, but at least for right now, depending on how aggressive Abadai wants to get on this approach, we'll back off as soon as he gets droned out, and we'll still resume his spawn back up in Boiler. We're in Rio. Peek onto where Abadai's head was just a moment prior. So Oblation will put 1 on backstairs. Giddy seems to be droning on the outside as well, so they might just be attempting to take the rest of Big Tower, which no one from 7 Spades, again, is roaming on a bottom floor bomb site, so Oblation can move in once they realize they have all the space in the world to operate. Once they have that space, they'll be able to utilize it effectively in whatever push they decide to choose. Backstairs is absolutely paramount in this case, and so far Bunker also seems to be the push, as Aristotle will begin to nullify the utility built up inside of it, but there are 2 players who are in positions to stop the approach from that side should the need arise. And everyone else on Oblation, no one pushing from Laundry Stairs, instead the focus is on E-Box Hatch.
I'm kind of sad Giddy isn't running the Ying that we see a lot on the Ablation downstairs takes,
Maybe
especially
we'll get
with
it.
No
We'll get it
MI.
later. At some
That's
point.
true. We could definitely get it later, and I do love the Ying pushers. They just kind of shove into Pillar. There's nothing the defense can do about it. But interestingly enough, we have a bit of a role swap. Giddy is on Nomad. He's on the flank watch. Normally he's on the Zofia, but Arrow will be picking that role up instead. Explosions coming out every which way as the attackers try to clear utility. They will have expended one of the impacts, one of Ash's charges, and one of the Selma gadgets, as well as a Hibana chart. So, a lot of utility being dedicated. Not a lot of openings, though, other than on the E-Box hatch. They have not opened the E-Box wall. They have not opened the single panel wall either. I assume maybe they have either the laundry or the freezer wall open as well. But first pick is going to go to Inriel. There's 3 refrags, though, for 7 spades. It's all to Giddy and Vivid after that initial entry by their teammate, and things are not looking good, especially as Vivid falls. It's just Giddy. Failed rush attempts will fall the way of 7 spades, and they will take their first defensive round.
Oblation grab opening pick, and it all falls apart from there. The crossfire set up inside Boiler nets almost all the kills, 3 kills, very, very quick succession, and there's no opportunity for Oblation to recover. A backstairs plus bunker push, mostly from the backstairs side of things, means that if there's no bunker pressure, you can just have your player who's watching bunker swing around to backstairs and pillar and get the kills as required. Not nearly as much pressure on that side of the map for Oblation to feel comfortable with it, but they just make the backstairs push happen anyway, and it doesn't net with anything aside from one initial pick, as it's a 4 versus 1 at the end, and there's no opportunity for Giddy on Nomad to equalize all by himself. So, I would call that more of an Oblation stalled attack, choked attack, rather than a super strong 7 spades defense, because you should be equipped to handle everything inside bunker and be able to push down backstairs without too much problem, and maybe get 1 or 2 players picked in the process while you clear those 2 locations out of any defenders. But players in bunker were still left up. Players alongside Boiler and backstairs and pillar were still left up, and Oblation didn't have the coverage necessary, yet still made the push. So a little bit of a questionable judgment call. Hopefully next time 7 spades goes back to that site, they can make the adjustment. Maybe it does need the Ying. Maybe that's why they lost.
5 seconds to go.
The Ying. I love. Well, I don't love Ying pushes, but hey, they're more interesting than watching the attack sit there for 2 minutes and
true.
chuck utility in. So, Valkyrie now still going to be running with a shield, and he's still got it in his pocket. If Mohes dies on this spawn peak, then that will be a fumble and a half, though he does have the intel advantage. And he's still watching the cam. He's just waiting. And he's gonna eventually fall off. Wise decision. I don't think he wants to get especially caught with a shield still in his pocket, not on site. Especially when you have the smoke and you have the Goyo shields. A lot of emphasis being put on the indestructible gadgets, along with your Jaeger and your Malusi as well. So not as much of the utility meta on the downstairs, plenty of utility meta on the upstairs.
There's a little bit of anti-roam happening as Inrio goes all the way to the basement searching for roamers, and he may find one if he's more diligent about it, but Giddy is also helping him with some of the downstairs droning, and once that drone scale completes, and they have all the coverage they need, and they're confident that there's no one sitting 2 floors down below, but then they have to contend with both a Valkyrie and a Jaeger only 1 floor below the bomb site, and that might also be just enough for 7 spades to create more pressure. He's just looking for a kill. He sees the outline. It's right there, but I don't think he's reliable enough in his shot if it's such a far distance away. He's just going to watch
right next to him.
He's going to wait for someone. I did. He could get 1, if not 2 kills sitting from his garage side, but right now, the drone game from Oblation seems to have not extended to garage, so his position is probably not yet known.
That is definitely a very sneaky proposition.
He's not looking! No!
Guy in a bear, he's right next to the window, but no arrow as he runs away. He'll get collected by Mohes on the downstairs. Still on this roam. Like you said, the drone game not sufficient enough, and no air! What? Inrio with a very uncharacteristic whiff on the Ash. Mohes is just gonna rip his head off with the 50 cal Deagle. Now it's a 3 versus 4. It could have been equalized. It could have been an advantage for Oblation, but Inrio, just not expecting the fight, will get clapped. And now it's Giddy, Vivid, and the very lit up guy in a bear to pick up the pieces. Giddy searching for this roamer downstairs with really no info, just face checking everything. Vivid still playing on the game's breach as he's gassed out by the smoke of Noski. I'm not even sure where Guy in a Bear is. I think he might be, yeah, he's over towards Trophy. Drone will be thrown in by Vivid and it'll be shot, but we'll still confirm that the Valkyrie is indeed playing in the attic doorway. Giddy on his rotate downstairs, that will prove fruitful. He gets one as Vivid crosses off Mohes. The last canister now being expended. It's a 3 versus 4. The man advantage has now been rotated in Oblation's favor, but on top of white stairs, down goes Giddy. Vivid will start to take damage from this gas canister. He gets Nitro down as Carnage B gets him from the grave. But no, the rotate from Guy in a Bear! He comes around by the white stairs rotate at just the right time, and the Bearing 9 will find its mark, and Oblation will somehow escape the jaws of defeat and take round number 2.
Despite a drone game that wasn't very strong, they still managed to do that.
I don't know how the hell that just happened.
Mohes had 2 free kills, essentially. Well, free in that Arrow as Zofia was not watching Garage Door when he made his rotate back to Big Tower, because why would you, I suppose? But there was a lot of droning happening. There was Giddy, who was droning for Inrio, who went and cleared the entirety of the basement and didn't check the rest of the first floor, the ground floor, before making their approach back upstairs, and Mohes was able to take advantage and find 2 kills. But that round absolutely comes down to Guy in a Bear making the swing through smoke, not knowing where the smoke is, kind of just flying blind with the Bearing 9, and all of a sudden there's no chance for Noski to turn back around and find the kill, and the Bearing 9 finds the frag, and Oblation will force 7 Spades to go back to the top floor after the round loss. It was not a round they should have won, as far as I'm concerned. The mistakes that they made somehow, though, were trumped by the mistakes that 7 Spades made in the clutch.
Yeah, because right, Mohes gets 2 free kills. It's a 5v3. Upstairs, I think it was Guy in a Bear. I think it was Guy in a Bear. Guy in a Bear got 1. It was a 4 versus 3.
Yeah.
Vivid sees one guy rotate in the attic. It's Mohes, who was very lit up by his previous fight with Inrio. Now, Mohes is inside of attic with the Goyo of... Who's on Goyo? Carnage B? Yes, Carnage B. I just looked back at the Twitch chat. Or at the Twitch stream. Carnage B rotates into Kids first, prompting the fire from Vivid, and as Vivid is firing at the Goyo, that's when Mohes rotates and he catches the Valkyrie. 3v3 or 3v2, because while all that was happening, Giddy was clearing downstairs, rotating towards white, and he found the Jaeger of Abonite. Then it's Noski and Surf against 3. The smoke gets 1. He gets the guy in white stairs. Giddy goes down. The C4 from Surf comes out after he dies. It was a posthumous C4, but it kills the planter of Vivid. But because the smokes were down in the middle of the site, it allowed Guy in a Bear to rotate through. He, I guess, maybe had a sound cue on where Noski was. It looked like he straight up knew. But that was a fumble from 7 Spades. Great recovery from Oblation.
So moving to round 3, a couple of things that are persisting on 7 Spades defense from the last round is that both Mohes and Abunai are still trying to roam downstairs, and Mohes is not able to deny from below with a Nitro Cell because he opted for a shield alongside Noski's to make up what is still a pretty darn standard at this stage setup with 2 shields in play with no Goyo, because Carnage is no longer on the Goyo, opting for a little bit more on that intel denial. The intel was still something that Oblation were able to use effectively to clear out the bottom floor, but can they use it to help with the roam game? And right now, because Oblation have taken control of Attic, or have all of Big Tower under their control, whether or not they make this Attic push could determine if Mohes has a free kill or not. At least for the moment, Oblation are not getting too keen on it, and there's still additional droning from, I believe, the Habana of Oblation. This guy is attempting to locate his position. Carnage has a lot of HP taken off across the map from, I believe, that's an impact from either the Ash or the Zofia. It actually probably was from the Zofia. Yeah.
It sounded like the Zof because it was just that, like...
It was the very, like, soft, like, thump.
Yeah. So I think it was the Zofia. I think we're maybe clearing a shield that he was playing behind. I don't think he's got info on Surf, and he did, but he'll get slammed! The angled grip working out for Surf, and down goes Vivid. No more smokes. No more ace, no more primary planter, and no more even man count. The advantage going in 7 Spades' favor. Mohes will now rotate downstairs, likely to come up white and join his team once the execute starts coming down, and the gas canister from Noski perfectly denying that doorway, preventing anyone from Oblation to recover the diffuser. The push will now start to come through by Attic. That's not, again, where the diffuser is. Giddy goes, Noski will trade out Abonai. Surf as well goes down to Inrio to 4 versus 3. Sorry, 3 versus 3. Noski, he'll find 2! 2 of them line up, he gets a third! Noski just completely shutting down all 3 remaining attackers by himself with the tiny mag of the SMG-11, and he just, 2 of them lined up, and Inrio was mid-sprint.
2 of them did line up for him coming out of Attic, or did I see that right? The outline was 2 players with 1 burst. Oh my god!
So that was a 4K for Noski because he got the shotgun kill too.
Yeah, and then the other 3 were with the SMG. Let's go, Noski! Good stuff. He is on top indeed.
I mean, so oh yes,
there it is.
Yes.
I was waiting for this.
The Oblation Ying push downstairs. Let's go. All right.
Well, the only thing I don't like about this is that there's not a Nomad in play. Everything else about this lineup from Oblation is great. Inrio's been putting in work on Ash. You needed 1 hard breach. You needed 2 hard breaches, and you've already got those covered. So far, Arrow has not been able to make any impact playing Zofia, which is a little bit surprising because of the performance he had in the last match.
Ironic, because Zofia has impacts.
You get the slow clap and nothing else. But Giddy's playing Ying, that's the point. Giddy was playing Ying almost every time. We saw Oblation decide they needed to make a change when they were defending Laundry on Oregon anytime in the first play. It's not something that they've brought out the first time that they've attacked basement bomb site. It's always been something that they've kept in reserve for the second time, or perhaps even the third time if the defending team is incapable of winning that many rounds on a Laundry defense. So Giddy has said, let's go ahead and just try to win this one here real quick if possible.
What is Noski, if someone face checked that and won that fight, oh,
when he was that exposed,
yeah, that would have had to.
But then, well, no, but the Womai's there, so it's way more difficult to face check. So he probably had a little bit more space to do that with.
It is true. But if you guys don't know how the Oblation Ying attack usually goes, they clear bunker, they open up the side of the E-box wall, and while that happens, they open up the E-box hatch, full send the Ying Candelas down into pillar, blind the player there, blind the player playing close supply door, and take quick control of pillar. And maybe, you know, it depends. Sometimes they have enough utility for the site push, sometimes they just fully expend all of it. But either way, that's kind of how they use Ying as their shoehorn into pillar. But Abonai and Noski right now are wasting a ton of time on bunker. They still have the shield up. They're duoing there, so I mean, you really can't just push one player on Oblation down there for fear of the trade. And at this point, you know, again, we said it a lot, an opening pick on the attackers, really any death on the attackers, is much more detrimental than a death on the defense just because of the way the meta works.
And also the way that the map itself works, because it's not a map that's swung either way. It's been defender-sided since the rework. It's been defender-sided probably ever since, you know, the map itself has been introduced. However, you are correct. If Oblation were to be the team to lose a player to start off, it's a lot more difficult for them to dig themselves out of, where if 7 Spades have the knowledge of how the map works, as well as the time and the clock on their side, almost acting as a 6th man. So if Oblation need to be stalled, 7 Spades can definitely do it for a lot longer with that advantage up. Here comes the drone now, as the push from E-Box actually might be a drop. There's 3 players situated above it, and flashes are now in, but Giddy is on drones as opposed to pushing because bunker control has not been obtained just yet. Mohes's Valkyrie has the coverage on Inrio if he pushes down the back staircase. Here comes Abonai. He wants the swing if he can get it, but the smoke is actually going to deter anyone from trying to push back that far. Abonai grabs 2 frags. Down goes the Ying. There's no chance to use that. No, sorry, the Ying is still alive. The E-Box pushes now. All of the Oblation's got. The Candelas come through. Abonai swings through the Hibana hole, finds his own pick, but now a 4 versus 1, and Surf finds the final kill. 7 Spades. The swing from Abonai nets a 3K for him, and all of a sudden, it's a 3-1 scoreline.
Wow. Abonai.
I didn't think he was going to swing. because the smoke, I thought, pushed the players on Oblation back too far for Abuna to have a shot. I
And he
thought that's
just
what
did.
that was. He just did.
He just did anyway. Massive 3K inside a bunker. Not only did he get Bear, but he got who was that? He got someone on the fadeaway.
He got Bear and Arrows. Both
Arrow,
players at
that's
the bottom,
what it was.
yeah.
He got Bear. He got Bear. And then as he backed up, he was still firing and got Arrow on
He
the
got
fadeaway.
Arrow on the fadeaway, yeah.
Then Giddy throws down his candelas. Right before they go off, he drops, and Abanai's watching. And from there, I mean, it's a 2v4. The entire defense knows where you're coming from because you have such little manpower and you're dedicating the utility to that drop. Sure, Vivid is able to trade back Abanai, but at that point, it's pretty much useless as the last two players die. So, great stuff from Abanai in that round. And now, that's going to force 7 Spades onto the offsite. We're going to go to meeting, which is... I still don't really know, like... I feel like it's still 50-50 between meeting and dining.
10 seconds.
I think it is. It's going to be a debate that we keep on seeing for, like, all
5
of
seconds
mankind.
to insertion.
Because we don't... How many other maps do we have?
Well,
2 sites that have
actually-
the same room on it. It's Oregon and Cafe, and is that
Cafe.
it?
Ye-
I want to say that's it, but
Yes.
the point is that we also still kind of have the debate on Cafe about whether or not you want to go for a fireplace defense, or sorry, if you want to go for a reading defense or a mining defense over and over again.
Reading's
Yeah, but there are still teams that opt to go for the other options.
Yeah,
It very much is
but,
the
you
same
know.
case with Oregon, but probably a little more of a 50-50 split like you're
Actually,
talking about.
you know what's a good point to make, too? A lot of the dining defense revolves around your showers hold, right?
Right.
Showers hold relies a lot on the utility meta, which is being heavily alleviated with this next coming patch.
So maybe as
wonder-
that comes in, we'd be able
Yeah,
to...
I wonder if maybe when that comes in, we'll see like a shift towards meeting. I do know that someone actually told me from like their scrims and stuff with T2, T1 teams that like Jaeger has fallen off hard because of that nerf.
That doesn't
and
surprise me.
that would be the first time in 5, nearly 6 years of this game where Jaeger is non-meta.
Well,
That
we'll
to
see.
me is like,
I want to see if that genuinely changes up how this side is held as well, just because of that fact, or whether or not you really need somebody who can dispel projectile utility, or if you just pick somebody who's a roamer, because that's what Jaeger's utilized in a lot of these situations kind of anyway, or just someone who can always be in a very, very annoying position regardless. And that is where Mohes currently sits at the top of Big Tower. His position has been given away. Abanai tries to find the kill onto Vivid, I think, who is repelling to the top of Big, but he can't quite find the kill. Surf is in a position trying to see if maybe he can't give Mohes an escape route. Look at all those bullets flying right past him on the right-hand side. Vivid does take down Abanai, so the small tower push doesn't net a kill, but finally the one for Hibana on the repel will nab the Jaeger. So 2 kills in 2 very, very pesky spots. Noski with a headshot does equalize the man count, so even if you're able to take out the roamers, there will still be an answer back. But Noski, so far 8 kills, 1 death. He's trying to put 7 Spades on his back and give them more of a chance on Oregon.
well, they certainly do have a pretty decent chance in this round. Vivid, their planter on just a sliver of HP. Kind of Baron Aristotle, as well as all 3 defenders still full. But no, the ace, who takes the aggressive peek, strangely enough, will win it against Noski as Noski just whiffs 2 shotgun blasts. You can't be doing that, playing a 90-degree angle with the smoke. And that's another one, as Aristotle will just drive by on a Carnage. It's just the castle, but he doesn't see Bear. And Oblation will take round number 5 as everybody on the defense peeks into them, and not a single one lands their shot. Finally, they will stem the bleeding. We'll be at a 3-2 scoreline.
You'd think that having 2 players in really, really sneaky positions with Vigil at small tower and Jaeger and big tower would mean that Oblation have to spend all that time clearing them out, and then hopefully means that they don't have enough time for their site execute. But what ends up happening? Vigil gives his position away from Big Tower and gets shut down by the man he was attempting to kill in Vivid. As soon as he finishes his rappel to the top of Big Tower, he lands basically a cross-country shot. And then the same thing happens with Abunai as Jaeger at the very top of Big, getting pressured from all sides, and there's no opportunity for him to move back out again. Again, it's just a matter of time wasting. You don't necessarily need to keep your life intact if it means you've stalled out the attacker's ability to move onto the site before it's too late. However, Seven Spades also decided it was necessary to get aggressive to still try to keep the man count from getting too lopsided too quickly, and that's what Noski was doing, is he was getting aggressive from a 5 versus 3 to a 4 versus 3. He finds his kill, but then that's it. He can't get back to site in a meaningful way because Oblation don't even have enough control of the room surrounding the bomb site before they make their approach. It's just a little bit of bad timing, and Seven Spades choosing to get aggressive where they probably didn't need to, and Oblation makes them pay for it.
The big turning point in that 3v3 was Noski whiffing.
Yeah.
Noski hits that shot on the Vivid, and bam, 3v2. Even if he gets traded off, it's 2v2. But connect both those shotgun blasts, and that's 2 kills. And that was not great. When you're playing a 90-degree angle with the M590, touted as one of the best shotguns in the game, better be hitting those. Unfortunately, I guess he just didn't expect the wild swing. He got caught off guard, and sometimes, you know, sometimes when you don't expect something in this game, you just gotta whiff. I know it's happened to me a lot, especially with my 1600 DPI that I play on. Of course, these guys aren't playing that high sense.
1600?
Yeah, I play 25 in-game sense. One-time sense is 35 scaled up, and 1600 DPI.
That is,
and I still have.
I'm the one
still have a higher
on...
KD than you.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about
Plat 2 off of AFK random optics. I'm too lazy to like aim with my.
I'm not gonna give it the satisfaction to this one. Carnage is trying to see how long he can stay alive inside Attic by himself, but Oblation have already begun their presence on that side of the map. I believe they have 3 players positioned in Attic, and 2 will try to take from the opposite side of the map, but it does not appear to be from... Note, they do have pretty firm control over Master and over Trophy for the moment, so this will be where their approach is. It's double prong from both sides, but nothing on Big Window, which means that Noski can sit back and bunks by himself and have clear rain to throw smokes wherever it's required. The only presence right now inside of Attic is Carnage. The shield does get removed from the field, but for the moment, no one is going to make their push in up until they see an opportunity to surf with a really dangerous rotate. Carnage will be the first kill. However, as the push from Oblation loses Vivid's life in the process. Arrow trying to see if he can't help. He's rotating around to make it 2 from Attic and 2 from Master side, but right now, it seems as though time is definitely not on Oblation's side, and when you lose a man like that, you lose your hard breach probably before all the Selmas were expended. It's not a time to lose an impact fragger like that.
That was also, too, Vivid was the guy on the game's wall that was shooting at Surf as he crossed, and I guess that was just enough of a distraction for Carnage to peek out and get the kill, although Surf, like that, you know, like we just saw, will get full blinded and swung on by Arrow, so we're back to an equal man count, though Abunai very lit up. He's playing on white stairs, watching for any flanks and making sure no one can push through the trophy door for free. Noski with the SMG-11 in hand. It's not the shotgun, so we'll be able to land the headshot on the in-rail, but Giddy there with a frag back inside of Attic because there's 2 men pushing that angle. Mohess trying to stave it off. He's got the pings, he's got the info. He's got to have the gun skill to stop it. Those 2 men will continue to push as Arrow, I believe, is still over by the game's wall. Abunai being distracted right now, and he'll be downed on the floor. It's a 2 versus 1. Make it a 1 versus 3, and Giddy we'll find the last 2 as I stumble over my numbers for some reason. My brain decided to not work. But Oblation will take their 3rd round, and like we said on Clubhouse, where if you take a 3-3 half on your attack, you're in the driver's seat, Oblation will do so on Oregon. 3-3 half, heavily defender-sided map. Now they move into the advantageous side.
What is it with CCS and Deja Vu? Like, this is literally round for round what happened on Clubhouse. With the exception of the first round not going to Oblation, in this case it went to 7 Spades, every other round has progressed in the exact same way. It was a 3-1 lead for 7 Spades at one point that has now dwindled down to a 3 versus 3, and now we head to the advantageous side of Defender Oregon in Oblation's favor. This is the reason why they went to it. It's their map pick, but yet again, Crow, why does every CCS map have an element of seeing the same thing over and over again to it? We saw this on Tuesday. I don't get it.
Yeah. What is it with CCS and Deja Vu? This
What do you
is
mean?
almost like round for round what we saw in Clubhouse. With the exception of the first round, instead of going in Oblation's favor, went to 7 Spades, but after that,
10 seconds left before insertion.
I mean, we saw this on Tuesday.
5 seconds left before insertion.
I'm dead. Oh my god. I love that we've extended this deja vu bit as long as I can.
It's just been happening over and over again.
It had with like two days in a row. Like literally, what are the odds of this being a thing?
I don't know, man. I guess that means there's a formula we can make. Maybe Rob is not being creative enough in his scripts. We gotta get some more writers.
I want to say it's one of his kids writing the scripts this time. They're asleep at the wheel and we need more creative matches. Rob!
Rob said he would adopt me if I can beat his kids in the Paw Patrol online game.
I was very happy that you continued the rest of that sentence and didn't make it a little bit more R-rated than it probably should have been. I was getting a little bit concerned that it was just going to stop at a pretty inappropriate point, but we're good. It's fine. What is it with CCS and Deja Vu?
This is like what we saw in Clubhouse. But it's a laundry defense first for Oblation, standard rotation. Of course, that's what we know and love. Just like actually in the first half, it was laundry to start off from 7 Spades. They won their defense. Can Oblation wins theirs? Well, they're not off to a great start, as I believe through either the E-Box hatch or flank watching. I don't see the corpse up here, so I don't know where that kill was from, but either way, Giddy is no longer with us. Mohes, the great first frag, he will take some punishment, but it's worth the kill, and you still got nades in the pocket. You don't really need to expose yourself to use that utility. Whereas the rest of the attack will start to try push down tower. First things foremost is trying to take control of Pillar. Surf will unfortunately whiff his shots, and he does not see the Jaeger slowly creeping up his staircase. The Jaeger will avoid the flash, but no, he can't hit the flick! Another whiff by Inrio that we caught on cam, and Surf will collect another kill. It's a 5v3 advantage for 7 Spades.
Alright, to bear the quick swing, down goes Abunai. A 4 versus 3 is a lot more manageable, but Oblation need just one more kill to try to bring things back to even. Vivid has the pressure. Guy in a bear can help with the swing if someone comes from backstairs. And the pressure now for 7 Spades. There's still one guy in a bear. Pre-fires can't find the kill and still won't hit any of the shots for the remainder of his clip, but he still does force the pressure off of Bunker for the time being. Maestro is the only one who's not attempting to help with this side as he's back all the way trying to defend Freezer in a solo push, but there might only be one player pressuring him from that side if there's anybody, because it still seems to be a backstairs and Bunker push for 7 Spades if they have the time to make this all work out in the end. Comes the Ash. Vivid down inside Harry Potter, goes for the peek and wins it! There's no chance the Ash misses that one, but now it turns into a 3 versus 3. Gyna Bear needs to rotate back away as the Selman knocks down the shield. He almost gets away without any of his HP missing, but it will come down to the final 10 seconds. Arrow will grab Noski across the map. Vivid needs to make the swing inside, finds the kill on the sledge. Can he swing back around? Yes, he can! One all the way back through Bunker, followed up by another in quick succession. And just like that, Oregon's defense starts out blindingly beautiful for Oblation.
Wow, fantastic stuff there from Vivid, despite the fumbling of the bag earlier in Pillar. Just like 7 Spades did, they will win their first defense on Laundry. The 2 first picks going in the way of 7 Spades. I mean, they were in the driver's seat. They looked great. And then Vivid, able to just crouch walk up tower stairs, take the Ash out because the attackers hadn't fully taken Pillar control yet, so that was easier for him to just walk up. Meanwhile, his teammates are continuing to hold down the site, not letting anyone get through because they still held on to elbow, still held on to key positions. They found their frags, and Vivid, again, a very, very well-timed flank. He finds the sledge mid-sprint, and the ace taking the fight inside of elbow. He doesn't really have time to turn around and snap onto him. So that's a great round from Oblation, though it didn't start good. Good recovery. Dorms will be the next. And that, again, standard rotation, though instead of the Goyo like they had last round, they'll be picking up the Mute, a little bit more drone denial, a little bit more C4 denial, should they choose to use it. And of course, you can supplement the lack of Goyo shields with the shield on the Valkyrie, which I assume they'll be bringing because they already have 2 C4s. No, I was wrong. She is going to be bringing a C4, so 3 C4s on the side of Oblation. That's going to be imperative for 7 Spades to clear out the bottom floor.
Yeah, less things to burn, one less shields, and We saw a lot of Valkyrie played on 7 Spades defensive round that also did have the use of the shield, and that was pretty darn effectual, at least until Oblation began to find their footing. That's correct English, Jacob. Congratulations, you can in fact speak the language in which you're paid to cast in. It's crazy. Guy and a Bear having another one, and Vivid having one. I don't really know if you're going to start playing from bottom up. It's happened before, so it will depend on whether 7 Spades make the clear through Classroom to stop the plant from going down inside games, or if you keep somebody downstairs in Kitchen to stop the plant from going down in dorms. So you have your options, and it's not to say that just because you have 3 C4s that you're going to play with the intent of stopping a plant with the Nitro Cell, but it does lend itself to more creative things that you can do when you have that much explosive utility still on the board. In Rio, a quick peek inside from Garage, and down goes the sledge. He doesn't have any chance to get any work done. Both nades gone. The entirety of the sledgehammer is no longer useful. That was with 20 seconds into the round. Oblation already trying to make quick work of this game.
Wow. So the same peak that worked out for Mohes on the defense will work against him on his attack. A little bit of a cruel irony there for Mohes. Poor him. Of course, the sledge, not really all that useful concerning the hammer on this site, but the nades are always a welcome addition to the team. It's actually your only set because you're not bringing a Maverick, so that could potentially be, you know, 1 or 2 kills, or 1 or 2 free kills that are no longer going to be available for 7 Spades, though. They will be able to clear out the player by the ledge on Attic, so not yet necessarily Attic control, but should they move down, it'll be 1 less fight they gotta take. Instead, he's gonna be playing by the rotate. Valcamp still up, though. Fantastic intel being gained by the defense. They can watch Surf slowly make his way up, though. Good awareness. We'll be able to shoot out the cam. No more free info for the defense, and the round will continue as the Jammer's doing work. No drone for Surf to be able to operate on, and Giddy retaking the position over by the ledge will just hold this with a shock, and if anyone tries to swing him, will likely be met with a swift death.
7 Spades will need to accelerate their attack just like they currently are because they're down by a man and the time currently does not favor them because of how they've opted to push this. But here comes an interesting rotate. Big window now becoming a massive focal point. Surf has been left all alone on himself on the Attic side of things, and everyone else on 7 Spades is moving towards big window for the potential push. No one's on Master, no one's on Armory. Instead, it's a double prong from an opposite angle, but it might just fall down on that big window push, assuming that the Ash is not able to get any kills. Guy and a Bear will take down Noski, but there's still an opportunity for some impact to be made. 2 whips from Giddy, 3! All of a sudden, it's down to Surf to grab the frag, and he does, but he'll get knocked out by Vivid on the cross, and now it's all up to Carnage. He does get 1 good placed headshot, but Arrow will clean him up after a very stalled push. The rotate to big window nets nothing, even though Giddy can't clean up the Ash and Attic. It doesn't matter. Oblation now, 5-3. We're trying to close this one out quick.
I cannot believe Surf didn't die. What? She just ate those pellets. Wow.
How does every Mossberg shot miss at such close quarters?
It didn't even look like it missed, though. It looked like she just ate. I mean, maybe the first shot missed. The second one didn't. She had damage on her. That was weird.
She got shot in the kneecaps. It didn't really do much.
Yeah, true. But whatever. Round still goes in their favor thanks to that stall out. Initial kill from Inrio. Just the sight hold. The big window push not working out. No one really on... No real presence on white either. Whoever was playing the breach died too. Just a lot of swings and misses from 7 Spades. Oblation, a great turtle there. Now, they'll go to dining. 7 Spades wanted beating. Oblation will choose the opposite. They'll take the Mira, as Mira has been left unbanned. They have the Malusi playing with the impact, so they'll be able to stall out the dining wall into small tower. Though, interestingly enough, because Oblation saw the Glaz pick from 7 Spades, they'll pick the Warden, and though the Glaz has been 6-picked off, they'll still keep the Warden, who's playing with the shotgun, interestingly enough. Not the MPX. So he's not going to be the most useful if he has to take a long-range engagement.
5 seconds
Seven
left.
Spades' attacking adaptation also seems like it's taken a pretty significant hit. They're not the ones to get the opening pick that's fallen to Oblation, I think, 2 times in a row at this stage, and Mohes has been the one worse for wear for those engagements as well. When he gets picked off with 20 seconds in the round and can't do anything, Seven Spades have not really understood what it takes to make things happen instead, and there's the opening pick, just like we were talking about. Inrio takes down Abunai. Goodbye, Zofia. This time it's not Mohes, but it's still another pick from Inrio within the first 20 seconds to make Oblation's job considerably easier. And now Seven Spades, because they're down by a man, consider the utility that you just lost, the positions of your players, where you think defenders are currently stationed. You'll need to do all of this intel game and still find a way to do it while making the appropriate rotate. There's a good kill. Giddy gets aggressive on the Warden, and Surf manages to even the man count up at 4-4, but you still have Inrio to contend with, and I don't believe his position was known.
I think he shot a drone though, didn't he?
He did.
I think he shot a drone so they know like he's somewhere in the basement. Maybe they don't know he's exactly.
But are they
killer,
pushing him?
They'll leave an air jab there, and then just continue taking from tower and taking probably into attic and trying to clear out Lucy. Surf will take some damage thanks to a gas nade that I think was chucked up through the hatch. The wall into kids' dorms is also fully reinforced, so they'll have to push all of the way into dorms through big dorms to challenge just the doorway, although they do have the ace with them, and he will open up the wall. So, position for Aristotle, just a little bit more exposed, though Arrow will persist. He has the hatch right next to him, so he can drop any time, but he'll see Surf. Oh no, the Ash just not aware. He gets a second one over the breach, too. 2 kills for Arrow. Mohes finally able to trade him out. But a fantastic upstairs hold from the Malusi means that Oblation, leading into the last minute, hold a 3v2 advantage, and now Noski has to contend with the Mira window. There's not a lot he's going to be able to do there. He'll just rotate into the tower and then out of the tower. But the retake upstairs, Vivid is still there. Mohes just had no clue. And now it's a 3v1. Noski, no diffuser control, 45 seconds left. He has to take out, I think both Inrio and Vivid are up here now, and you've got C4 support from below by Guy on a Bear. There's no info for Noski, and he'll lose the fight to Inrio. Oblation, they take round number 9, and just like last map, they're running it up on their attacks, and they will be 1 point away from knocking Seven Spades out of CCS Season 5.
Noski is really trying hard to save the CCS season for Seven Spades. He's trying his darndest, especially on their defensive half, and he's doing what he can to carry that over to their attacks. But everything on Seven Spades' sides now just seems completely disjointed. Any momentum that they had through their defensive half is not something that they could carry over, because Oblation have brought things back, by the way, with 5 unanswered rounds. A 3-1 advantage through 4 for Seven Spades has completely and utterly slipped away from them with no recourse and no true answer. And part of that is because Oblation's aggressive spawn peeking plays are not being read appropriately. Seven Spades are kind of just running towards the building without doing appropriate checks, or they're at the very least not anticipating that there might be a spawn peek and maybe just sitting back for a second before making their approach onto the site, which I understand you don't want to get your head taken off, but you also still have a lot less time when you hang back waiting for a spawn peek to come out in order to make your approach to site, start your execute, look for utility to clear, look for walls to destroy. But you're still eating one player's life within the first 20 seconds, and that's happened in the past 2 rounds. Oblation's aggressive spawn peaks are remaining entirely unchecked, and Seven Spades are not doing a good enough job of reversing course and trying something new on the fly, and Oblation are making them pay for it. We sit on match map series point. This is elimination point for Seven Spades, and will be unless they can win the next 3 in a row.
You know, Noski had 8 kills on round 4.
He's only gotten 1 since then?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and rough for him after the couple wins, and now that is unfortunate. There is Noski! As I criticize his play over the last couple rounds, he's gonna say, you know what? You shut the hell up, I'll show you what for, and he's gonna not only knock off Guy and a Bear, but he'll peek into Pillar and get the quick headshot on Vivid, the star performer for Oblation as well. So a fantastic entry there from the Nomad, although this was the position Oblation were in on the previous time they defended Laundry, and they were able to clutch out the 3v5, and Inrio is going to start that. Noski, the big player, goes down. Now it's left to the rest of Seven Spades to try and pick up the pieces.
Not a single one of them have gone positive in KD, with the exception of Surf, who is at a 1.0 at the moment, and he'll try to force down into Freezer by himself. And now Arrow's taking up the mantle of holding on to backstairs solo. If he gets pressure from behind him, this could turn into a 4 versus 2 very quickly. And Rio, he's not getting aggressive. He's just going to hang back and hope that Seven Spades make a mistake and he can capitalize on it quickly. And Giddy behind the shield, he'll make the rotate if he can. Only a couple of seconds left before it would have been his demise, but Arrow, oh boy, the peak doesn't come through, and it gives him ample opportunity to get the reinforcement, but Surf still takes down Giddy unchecked because of his Freezer push. So now Arrow and Inrio in a 2 versus 4. There's time for Seven Spades to make a rotate in. If Oblation can continue to stall for time, maybe 1 to 2 picks, they still have an opportunity to stay in this game.
They also have locked off elbow, so Arrow knows that his back is covered, and Inrio, they're going to need World Eater Inrio right now if they want to end this map and knock Seven Spades out. Diffuser is in the hands of Carnage, and there's no denial, so he's just going to be able to go and plant, though Arrow kills Mohes, but there's cover from inside of E-Box. Surf will find the refrag, and now it's post-plant for Inrio. You can't see the player by Pillar just yet. Not a lot of intel for him to work off of as the Evilizer tucked inside of Supply and in the long hall. The player prone on his right, he'll hear him though. And down goes Carnage. It's a 1v2. Now he can't find the player behind Pillar. There's a shield for the Nomad. Sorry, not the Nomad, for the Zofia to play behind. Surf is also inside of E-Box, tucked inside the corner. Inrio will push out. He found the Zofia. It's a 1v1, a triple kill for Inrio, but the Ashe is tucked in. She's holding a tight angle. He's got the pistol out. Surf will just peek around, and Inrio tries to go for the defuse, and that is the wrong play. He still had time, but he felt pressured, and Surf plays that perfectly. He plays just passive enough inside of E-Box, not letting his position be known. Seven Spades will, for now, stave off defeat.
Credit where credit is due. Inrio's last-ditch attempt in a 1v3 situation, no less, pretty darn unwinnable because of where Seven Spades were positioned. Still a very, very good attempt. He almost had it at the very end. He had to pick between going for the diffuser and try to fake it to force the Ashe off the angle, or just hold and wait for the Ashe to make a move. But when you're the attacking team, you don't hear the diffuser begin to get counter-diffused. You don't have the sound cue. You just sit there and wait. So it was the right call from Surf. It was also the right call from Inrio, and it was just advantage Seven Spades. That round goes the way that it does, though, because of 2 kills from Noski. I don't know if that's because it was obviously inappropriate positioning from Oblation, because there were 2 people who were in spots they did not need to be in, and it was a very quick 2K from practically the same angle from Bunker looking into E-Box. However, is that because there was no chance of, like, Oblation weren't expecting a Nomad to be at Bunker doorway that quickly, or was that them also themselves getting aggressive and trying to stave off the first push?
I don't know.
10 seconds left
We'll never
before
know
insertion.
anymore.
We'll never know.
Round's
we
over.
ask. We
Could
5
ask.
seconds remaining.
if they win.
Yeah, if they win, you could chalk that up as an interview question. Though it's like,
Keg.
Is to locate the bomb and defuse it.
the problem with that is it's one play that probably won't end up mattering in the end if Oblation still wins. So it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things we'll probably never have the answer to.
Keg just whispered to us, "What was the question?"
It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. We don't need to know.
It's
We'll
for a
just
bit. We'll be okay with that.
live our lives tormented by the fact that we just don't know. Surf and Noski are now both on double digits to meet Vivid, who had reached that earlier in the round prior, actually. So we could be seeing repeated 7-4 scorelines for Oblation, unless Seven Spades can pull out, again, something spectacular on their Dorm's push. Remember last time they really couldn't get through games? They kind of shifted over towards Big Window, and it didn't work. They kind of got destroyed. The only kill that really mattered in that round there, that could have mattered, was the kill into Attic, but it was very swiftly refragged. Inrio is again going to be playing very aggressive piece, this time outside of Classroom, looking over towards where the bus is. Although there's no free picks for him this time. And that laundry round, mind you, is the round that Seven Spades won. It's the first round in 2 that Inrio didn't get a spawn peak kill. Inrio not getting a spawn peak kill this round either could be good. Well, obviously it's good, but it could be a round changer for Seven Spades.
And because the entry frag went their way as opposed to Oblation's way in the previous round, you'd think that that may be more of a difference maker than you might think if you want to look at previous statistics. Let's just see how this one plays out, shall we? Arrow and Inrio both trying to defend the top floor by themselves. Inrio will make the rotate back down to main. He has one behind the white van, but neither is getting super keen to peek this, as the pressure from main and onto master is where Seven Spades are focusing a bulk of their attack. The other contingent of their team is probably across the way, trying to focus on attic, but Arrow is the sole man tasked with defending trophy and master from that side of the map, and Inrio, he could be prepping for a big play. He does wait for the cross, but he misses the shot. He finally gets it on the rebound. And Vivid with one more as Abonite gets taken out of play means that Oblation now firmly sit in the driver's seat with only 38 seconds to go. The positioning on Oblation is all rock solid. Only 2 players with lower HP, but there's still plenty of time to deny the swing with a shotgun. Noski wins the fight. He's still trying to keep Seven Spades in this keep. There's chances in CCS alive. Courage across the map. All of a sudden on Big Window now has the ability to plant. Noski with the cover. And so is the sledge. The gas canister completely misses and now falls in Oblation to go for a retake. Arrow makes quick work of one player, and so does Gideon. Now all falls onto the sledge. 3 quick kills, 3 quick slayings, and there goes Seven Spades' chances in this one. Oblation will move on in CCS, and Seven Spades, see ya bye. It ended too soon.
Wow. Oblation, though the attack from Seven Spades was slow, was a stalwart defense by both Vivid and Giddy. Excellent job from them. Inrio heating up as well on his defensive half, in fact gaining the MVP award for that map. And Seven Spades will join Glow Up as the first 2 teams eliminated.